yourself an army. And boy, let me tell you, did I. And if people think that we're going to stop fighting for our freedom and liberty, they got something coming. All right, we are live tonight. Looks like there's a little bit of a lag here. Live. Guys, can you guys hear me? It sounds like I don't even know if you guys can hear me. Look at this. My little cross is coming out in the back. Let me see if my audio is working. I feel like it's not. Can y'all hear me? Testing, testing. Okay, it says it's working. Okay, it says it's working. So maybe y'all do hear me. Okay, so let's see here. All righty. All right, well, we are live on Stand Up, Stand Out America tonight, a special edition out here in Texas. As you see the beautiful Texas behind me, I can tell there is a lag. I don't know why there is, what is going on with my streaming tonight. This is no bueno, guys, no bueno. I don't like when I don't have a good, it says it's running, it's on. So, okay, we're just going to have to do the best that we can tonight. So let's see if it doesn't get too crazy. But tonight's edition, Stand Up, Stand Out America. Oh, let me see here. Our guest tonight is having a hard time logging in. So let's see. Hang on here. Something is up with StreamYard tonight. Bear with me, guys. All right, can y'all hear me? Because I swear something looks like it's not working. I don't know what's going on. But anyhow, okay, so we have a guest. They're having a hard time logging in. And so anyhow, but tonight we're doing a special edition out here in Texas, and hopefully you guys, we got some things to cover. There's a whole lot of news, a whole lot of stuff happening. Y'all know there's a whole lot of stuff happening. Anyhow, so let me see here. First, let me go. I want to share some things with you guys. And hopefully my guest makes it on here. So be patient, y'all. I don't know why she's having a hard time, but she's having a hard time logging in. All right, so I want to cover some local things going on, and there's a lot of stuff going on. So we got some local elections coming on. We've got city council, school boards, all kind of local races, mayor races, all kind of things going on right here in local Houston area. I don't know, you guys, have you heard that Sheila Jackson is running for mayor here in the Houston area? What a disaster. It's like a Lori Lightfoot 10.0 is a disaster. If you ask me, it's a disaster. And so anyway, what craziness, right? Sheila Jackson trying to run for mayor here. So the story of the scoop is Mayor Sylvester Turner in Houston. He wants to continue his I swear, I hope y'all can hear me. He wants to continue his legacy, guys. And so the people that are running right now are not going to, continue his legacy. And so therefore, he was begging Sheila Jackson to come back and so the people that, okay, so I guess you guys can hear me because I can hear I just did a sound check on Getter. All right, to all the Getter family. Anyway, so Sylvester Turner doesn't want to lose his legacy here in the Houston area. And so he's recruited Sheila Jackson to come and run for mayor. And so she doesn't even have to step down from Congress, guys. Can you believe that? Like, it's a rules for you, but not for me kind of thing going on here. I know y'all are probably sick of it because I know I am. I'm sick of it. But anyhow, um, so yeah, so this is insane. It's absolutely insane. So she's now coming to run for office, and she still gets to keep her seat on in Congress. And so we got Sheila Jackson, kind of a destructor around here, and so anyway, so it's going to be crazy. It looks like my co-host Fred and I has finally made it in. So let's make sure that we do everybody welcome on Stand Up, Stand Out America tonight, live. And let's be patient. We're going to make sure and do a sound check with her. And here we go. Larissa, are you coming in clear? Can you hear me? I can hear, I don't know. Let's see. I think I can hear you.
I can hear you very well. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Two Latinas tonight on Stand Up, Stand Out America here. Live, I say, what's going on in Pasadena, Pasadena. Did I misspell No, I didn't. Anyway, Pasadena, Houston area. I was just telling the audience here how Sheila Jackson has announced that she's running for mayor in Houston. It's a disaster.
Yeah.
And so we've got some local, stuff going on. So Larissa, I've invited you to our show tonight, Stand Up, Stand Out America, onto the podcast because you recently ran for local office. As you know, there are some local elections right now going on and, here locally, actually, and pretty much across the country, but here locally, we've got city council, we've got some school boards, we've got some local mayors, some things that are going on locally here in our region. So specifically, there's elections coming up in May, and then there's some in November. So there's the mayor, City of Houston, and mayor is in November, but like here locally, we've got some city elections as well going on. So that's why I wanted to call you, because you just ran for something locally. You ran for city council, and I wanted to get your feedback and your opinions and your advice and all of that good stuff. I want to get you, because you just ran for something. It's fresh in your mind. We've got these local elections going on and are fixing to kick in. Next week, I think, is early voting in March. I'm sorry, May 6th or 7th is actually election day. So we've got some, pretty interesting races locally. And so I want to welcome you. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, patriottvlive.com, and our Getter audience. So Larissa, just so that you know, our Getter audience is pretty much, that's where really, we get a lot of our audiences in Getter. So I love my Getter family. I always Getter is better. And so anyhow, so welcome, Larissa. First of all, introduce yourself to my audience.
Thank you for having me on, Bianca. Especially Absolutely. At such short notice right now.
I know, I did. I was like, oh my God, I want to talk about local. I always talk about national things, Larissa. I talk about national things. And so, I really want to start bringing in some perspectives locally, because I have a lot of followers that are local. And so this is why I was like, you know what, I need to do something local. And and with this races coming up, I was like, we've got to talk about this. So yeah, Larissa, introduce yourself.
We do. So I'm Larissa Ramirez. I am from League City. So I ran for League City City Council this last fall. And I'd never run before. And just, a mother of two, a wife, work full time. I'd never even dreamed of politics. But, as a mother, when you see a need, you rise to the need. When you see a need in your community and in your city, you rise to that. And so that's what I did last fall. Was a top vote getter, got in the runoff, and then in the runoff, my opponent eventually got, the city council seat. But what it taught me was that local politics are so imperative, and they're so important because, this is your backyard. This is your home. And you have to be sure that your home is protected and in order. And so it starts here. It starts here at home. And eventually it rises up into county, into state, and all of that. So the base is your home, is your concrete. So, and that's why it's so important for us to stay involved.
Right. I admire that. I think this is so awesome that you, said, I've not run for anything, but you felt that there was a need and you rose to the occasion. And I remember you telling me your story. I was busy running around the whole nation last year, and you told me your story recently. And you said you did very, very well, and got yourself into the runoff. You were the, vote getter, obviously. And in the runoff, that's where, hmm, yes, Phyllis, hope she gets her vision across. Absolutely. She is going to be now um, a trendsetter here, because this is what is happening across the nation, Larissa. We are actually seeing mothers rise up. You've got Moms for America, Moms for Liberty. You've got a lot of mothers out there that are saying, whether it's school boards, whether it's a city council, the local elected officials, positions, commissioners court, things that are definitely zoned into local people, mothers specifically, are taking on that mantle and saying, you know what, we cannot sit by and stand idle. So what was the driving issue that got you, like, that you said, this is, I'm going to run? What was that one driving issue that led you to go put your name on the ballot?
So I was attending several conferences and several meetings related to flood mitigation. And the reason I was doing that is because in my professional career, I work in disaster recovery. I've worked with the GLO and Hurricane Harvey efforts, and even today I work as helping push these programs along and helping facilitate these programs on the construction side nationwide. So I have a little knowledge and background as it relates to flood mitigation, as it relates to disaster recovery, and anything else that we experience here in the Gulf. Anyway, so I'm attending, because I want to know what's going on in my neighborhood. How are we tackling these things? What are we doing, and what is our money going towards? And when I do that, and I'm attending these meetings, there and the guys are great, but then they go on and they're talking about different things, and they don't quite speak the disaster recovery language. They know a lot about other things, but when it comes to these grants and when it comes to different areas, I was the only person in there that fully understood, that was in the trenches there with these people, and who was there building these houses and pushing these programs along. So I thought to myself, well, heck, what am I doing sitting over here? I need to be sitting over there so that I can step up and I can make a difference and be able to bring that experience and that knowledge to my city so that we can all work together and move forward.
Wow, that is so because of your profession, is you saw a need, there's something that that struck you. See, most moms have been inspired to run because of whether it's a drainage issue, a roads issue, a parking issue, the kids, whether it's like the kids, their kids are being affected by decisions that are being made by both the school board and city council. And so you've got all that. And so but for you, this is unique because it wasn't like some controversial thing. It was more of, wait a minute, there is a need, and because of your experience and your knowledge, you felt you could go and fill that need in your community. That's absolutely amazing.
I think it comes naturally as a mother. We the things that we care about, the people that we care about, we tend to them. We see especially, and it's me as being brought up in a Latino household, it's like oh, you're hungry, oh, okay, well, here you go, mijo, here you go, mija, and just that nurturing side of you comes
The
out.
nurture. Yep.
And so when you really care, that nurturing
Mhm.
side comes out, and this, like I said, this is our home, and when you care about it, it's like, well, let me just get up and handle it. I know about this stuff.
Right. Don't worry about the distractions. Listen, this is we're, very, I'm, we're very casual on Friday nights. Okay. Especially after long work weeks. And, we just get on and talk about things, and we make sure that our message is out. So that's absolutely awesome. So there's some controversial things going on, in Texas right now. I want to get your take on it. We've got a Texas legislator who's been Brian Slayton, House Rep Brian Slayton, that came in the news this past week, and they're saying that he was having relationship with minor girls, and there's some talk about possibly buying them these girls, alcohol. So they were underage, so he was serving alcohol. So you're all too familiar with the House Rep Briscoe Kane and Steve Toth. Steve Toth, I really admire Steve Toth. I really love him. And I was just told today that those two are calling for him to step down, calling for Brian Slayton to step down. Now, I really love Brian Slayton. I think he has done a phenomenal job. He's really stood up for conservative principles. He's always, it's like him, Bob Hall, and a few others that are just like the ones that say, hey, this is what we got elected to do, and this is what we're going to do. So we're not just going to toe a line. We're going to do what we got elected to do. They got to serve their constituents. So now they're calling for him to resign. So this is all, what's going on right now in Austin. They're supposed to be focused on passing bills. They're supposed to be focused on the real issues that are, over Texas, like things that we've asked for, tax relief. We've asked for, school choice. We've asked for, the whole energy crisis that we've had here. We've asked for that to be fixed. Election integrity. I can go on and on. We got border issues. There's so many different things that are going on that are affecting Texans. And what they're over here, trying to get rid of someone who does his job. And, and I don't really know, Larissa, I don't have proof. I haven't seen proof. People say there's proof, but I'm like, hey, if you say you got receipts, give the receipts, show your receipts. If you say that you got video, you got pictures, show the receipts. You can't just accuse people and start saying, hey, you got to step down and all this other stuff. And this is what really makes me mad. We've got, and I'm gonna sit there and say Briscoe Kane for he's got skeletons in his closet. He's got no right to be judging others when he has skeletons in his own closet. So what really makes me mad is that there was another House rep, Lacey Hull or something. I think she had an affair with another House rep. They didn't call for them to step down, and they're having an affair. Is it because they're adults, but they're okay to have an affair? Look, if you're going to start applying rules and start casting judgment, it should be across the board. It's not just for one and not the other, And so that's what really gets me from these elected officials. What really drives me nuts about these elected officials is that they are hypocritical. They are hypocrites, and they are corrupt as heck. And they think that they belong to this elite group now, and they're untouchable. And that really, really drives me nuts. So Larissa, how do you weigh in on that? And so meanwhile, they keep breaking from the Texas legislator. They're not doing their due diligence and what they're supposed to be doing. And they're over here worrying about, affairs and people's affairs and who did what and who drank with who and all these other things that are not doing anything for Texas. I just want to hear you weigh in because you're local. So I want to hear what do you got to say? The Briscoe Kane because he's close in this area. So what are your thoughts?
So I like to call that Hollywood politics.
I love it.
What I mean by that,
Hollywood politics.
Politics. People get to a certain status that they believe is a status for them. It gets to their head, and then here we are in our soap opera and this Hollywood politics. Oh, look, how I look in this light, or look at what social media is saying about me, or I'm going to go against this guy because it's already hit their head to where they're like movie stars. What about the people who elected you in? What about the voters? What about, and we can go on and on about the border issue and what's happening there. What about what's Briscoe Kane? What's happening in your backyard? We have sex trafficking it's on the rise, and it's on the rise because these borders are open. Okay.
Yep.
So you were elected to go over there and to fight for us over here for your backyard. And you
Mhm.
can't even protect your backyard.
We just had a tornado just went through Deer Park.
Exactly.
And he's worried about people's marital affairs opposed to his own backyard. That's something that just recently happened. What,
Yeah.
because you did a couple of photo ops and showed up at people's front yards and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry you had a disaster," and "Oh, so sorry," and that's it. Took the photo and said, "Oh, we're gonna, ask the Texas, whatever their procedures are to give some money or some
It's
relief or
Hollywood
whatever."
politics. It's Hollywood politics.
It's all optics. It's all optics. So yeah, so there's plenty of other things that I'm sure he could be doing other than worrying about, another conservative guy and what he's done and not done. So so go ahead, Larissa, keep going on that.
I think that, like I said, and it's funny, Bianca, because it doesn't just happen, on the state level or on the national level. People, you know, it happens here at home.
Yeah.
So, I saw a handful of that here in Galveston County. Just the county itself, um, and the way everything worked, during my campaign,
Mhm.
it is it was disgusting.
Mhm.
And we just heard about what happened in Harris County, with the whole election fraud
Mhm.
situation that was happening in Harris County. And it was eye opening because people know that kind of stuff happens on the national level, or there's
Right.
there's hazing, there's bullying, there's this drama, things that don't even matter. The people know it happens on the state level, but
But
we're
listen,
supposed
the
to.
local level, all of it, local, state, and federal. Listen to this, and I know you're going to agree with me. There is some kind of, did you kiss the ring?
Yes.
If you kiss the ring, then you can run for office. You have you have to kiss the ring and buy into their little elite system.
Yeah.
I think that's the most disgusting thing. I don't recall the founders of our Constitution, or the founders of America, that the very tyrannical thing they ran from is now these elite systems that county levels,
Yeah.
city levels. It's a what, did you ask someone for permission to run?
Yeah.
In fact, that was Briscoe Kane's response to me about when I was running for Senate. Did you ask so and so permission to run? And I said, I'm sorry, I'm an adult. I don't ask permission to pay my bills. You don't do anything. You don't support me. Why would I ask you for permission to run for office? That was my response. And I'm sure he didn't like it, So I am waiting for someone to challenge him, because I'm going to work extra hard, because somebody needs to challenge him. This ego system that happens with these elected officials has to go. And I can't wait for his little skeletons to come out of the closet, because he has some. And I truly feel sorry for his wife, but he has some serious skeletons. So when you're talking about Galveston County, I can tell you, you're in League City and we're in Pasadena, the Pasadena area. We've got some things going on here. That some local, races, specifically even in my race, not in my race. I'm sorry, it's not my race, but in my district, there are two men running. The incumbent, and I'm supporting retired Lieutenant Colonel Joe Stepp, and so I'm supporting him. And my thing is, hey, listen, we are going to, what we want to do is, I believe in term limits, number one. So you've served, hey, Tiffany, you've served 2 terms, and I believe in term limits. And, one of the things that has come to my attention, Larissa, and I want to hear your story about, because I'm sure it's happening in your backyard, but in Pasadena, this incumbent in District H has literally been running around to the residents. This campaign of Joe Stepp has been knocking on a lot of doors, and they've been hearing over and over and over these residents saying, "Oh, he's making promises and calling city heads, departments to come and fix an issue or problem during this election." That is unethical. number one. I'm sure it's some type of illegal because you're using city funding and your position to go fix a problem that you've had 4 years to fix, and now you want to come fix it because you're trying to seek reelection and you're being challenged. So now you're using city funding and resources to go and fix an issue that you could have fixed throughout your 4 years, but because you want to win an election, now you're using city funding to help you try to win your election. I have a problem with that, Larissa. So tell me that's just here. What I'm sure you have some type of something that's happened in your backyard that has that kind of ring to that.
Yeah. I recently had some red flags that popped up that prompted me to look into our financials, our county financials. And when I did, there were some questionable items on there, and not that they were doing anything, illegal or wrong, but at the same time, everything was legit there. But at the same time, there was a lot of money that could have been allocated elsewhere, is what I'm going to say. It could have been allocated to the roads. It could have been allocated to the drainage. It could have been, heck, it could have even been allocated to like a Parks and Rec or something. It wasn't even that. So
right. So that is going to be interesting because now you can go and look at, we'll be able to go back and look at and pull the financial records to see how many requests this, hopefully soon to be ex-council member, how many requests he made and how much financing came into his request in the last, from March, April, leading up to his election. I'm sure that we're going to find some things that, obviously are going to be questionable as well. And so that's really kind of my big beef, is that, these people and he runs around with the peanut gallery. I call him the peanut gallery. That's right. I'm gonna call him peanut gallery. I call him the peanut gallery. Listen, Larissa, there's no filter with me.
I know.
Filter. I'm not politically correct.
Enter at your own risk.
I am not politically correct. I don't care to be. This is my podcast. I will, speak my mind, about what I believe is happening. And so these little peanut gallery people follow him around, and it's the same peanut gallery people. Okay. Same people. And they follow him around, and, they think that they're holier than thou. They think they're the elitists now. They call themselves grassroots. They're not grassroots. They're not grassroots at all. And so they call themselves grassroots, but, so anyhow, it's amazing to me. And the backstabbing, they sit there and they claim that they're this, righteous, Republicans, who are fighting and doing everything they can, to do good things for our district or their districts, but they backstab. The minute they'll sit there and they'll be like, "Oh my God, how are you?" And literally will turn their back and they will go and backstab you and talk behind your back and say, "Oh my God, what is she wearing?" Or, it's like high school, like a 7th grade high school classroom. It's ridiculous. So you call it high school. I'm gonna call it mean girl, the mean girl, thing, like you can't sit with us kind of thing. And that's how they run around, and they think they think that they are the elitists. And yes, Tiffany, you're right. They form little cliques. They have these little cliques, and they and then you got to kiss the ring of the clique. If not, you're not accepted in the clique, Clarissa. And they're so fake. And I'm like, I'm sorry. How are you? This is why, Hispanics, I was saying on my Twitter, I was like, this is why Hispanics don't commit to being Republican, because the Republican Party is weak.
No,
this
is why the younger generation doesn't rise up and doesn't get involved, because there's so much that, you're raising family, you're doing this, you're doing that. The last thing you want is some drama, about this and that or the other. just to be a part of your community or part of your prospective party.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's doing, is it's pushing people away.
Yeah.
Good people, your
Good
grassroots people,
Yes. Yes.
your strong people, your smart people. It's pushing everybody away, and then at the same time, it's dividing the party.
Yeah.
All the meanwhile, you have just people like forming these cliques, trying to get in, and then hey, what you need to do is you need to be worrying about taking care of us. And the freaking Democrats, they stuck together.
Oh yeah, listen. They could be in a crowd. One can shoot somebody, kill somebody, and they all go, "No, he didn't have a gun and he didn't do it." They will stick together through the end. If there is backfighting going on with them, they don't do it in the open. You know, and the Republican Party does it in the open. They do it behind your back, right there in your face. While they turn around, they do it in the open. They'll do it. They're very we call them nasties. They're nasties, and they do it online. You know, there's certain things that I feel that people should be called up. You know, I call out people all the time. You know, I do, but I try not to be nasty. I'm not trying to be nasty. I just say the facts. I say the truth. The truth. You know, believe me, and I'm very scaling it down because it's nastier. These people are nasty. Okay, so that's what I think is it. You know, it's a big turnoff, especially for Latinos. You know, in you know, and I've always said this. You know, and I don't know if you're a Trump supporter. I never really asked you, but I will tell you, you know, being a president of Latinos for Trump, and what got me into politics was Trump. And I always said the reason that Trump got the respect of the Latino community is because he was a fighter. He's still fighting. He's still fighting. If you just saw that he went to the whatever that match was in Miami, it was like some MMA, like an MMA fighting.
Yeah.
Is it MMA? Okay, so MMA. So that he goes to the MMA fighting, and the crowd erupts. Okay, woo, USA, USA, because that is what that's what people they get attracted to, a fighter who doesn't back down. It's like you're in the pin and you're fighting for your life, and you keep punching back, and they keep trying to knock you down. You get back up and you hit back. That's what gets people riled up and wants to. People get involved. They go, I want to, you know, support that person because that person is fighting for me. This other little country club bullshit crap isn't flying by anymore. This is why there was no red tsunami, Larissa. This is why across the country, there's a red tsunami. Yeah. No, there isn't. There was no red tsunami. There wasn't, because the Republican Party is like dead, weak, you know, and it's like I call them, they're on a lifeline of oxygen tanks. That's what it's like, oxygen tanks running around, slowly walking around, thinking that they are the powerful, you know, makers and shakers. And God bless them, because there is some very good people that do good things. But for the overall, these little cliques, country club, you know, kiss the ring people ruin it for everybody else. Nobody wants to belong to that. I'm sorry. We just don't want to belong to that. So yeah, I'm going on my little soapbox because it really gets me riled up. I cannot stand elected officials who act that they are better than everybody else. That is not why you got elected, so that you could go do your, what did you call it? Hollywood.
Your Hollywood politics.
That's not what you got elected for. You got elected because you claimed you were going to do good by your community.
Yeah, you work, and oftentimes they forget they work for us.
Oh no, but not according to them, Larissa. According to them, we work for them. You know, how dare you? How dare you? I'm sure tomorrow I'll get some nasty message like, how dare you, you know, say that about me? Really? And what? I have freedom of speech. I can say what I want to say. It's my podcast. I'm going to tell the truth, you know? I mean, that's what it is. So, Larissa, you probably were like, "Oh my God, I did not know what I was getting myself into this show." I just
no. I know
that
if I am going to be invited to any show at 9:00 at night that Bianca is hosting, that it's gonna be a fireball.
well, thank you for that. That's I think you said it very nicely. You're definitely way more You are definitely way more politically, what is it, politically correct than I am. But yeah, but no. So another interesting story I want to talk about. It was a Texas scorecard. A friend of mine was brought this up to me. There is a story, Deer Park, Texas. You're very familiar with Deer Park. It's my backyard. Deer Park, Texas is my backyard. Moms are upset right now. There is a school bus driver who applied to be a school bus driver, and on his application, he said he's a male. He's dressing up as a female on the school bus. And he's literally at Deer Park Elementary. Sorry, he's Deer Park Elementary. Tiffany just said Deer Park Elementary. He is driving the school bus and telling the little girls that they must tell him or refer to him or address him as a ma'am or a Mrs. These little girls don't know the difference. Can you imagine if your little girl was a school bus and they clearly know it's a guy, they know it's a man, but the man tells them, no, you will address me as a miss? Who the heck does that? That's like not good for the kids' welfare at all. And so I hear that there is some people that have been calling the school district, and the school district is blowing it off. So guys, Deer Park, school district, Steve Harrell is the superintendent. And so I think that we need to get some people to call up to Deer Park and say, look, you want to do these things as an adult, but you don't bring this stuff to the children. I'm sorry. You're not going to be doing this thing to the children. Stay away from the kids, And you know what? If you want to dress like that, do whatever you're going to do. Do not address the kids. Just do your darn job. Drive back and forth and say nothing. But to sit there and tell those little girls, you must address me as a Mrs., is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, Bianca, I agree. And the reason I agree is because I'm a huge advocate for these are my kids. If I want to, I care for these kids. I work hard and I'm the one who is the provider and who cares for my children. So guess what? I get to say what they learn. I get to say, I get to teach them and I get to show them and I get to prepare them so that when they are adults, they can operate and live and be that person that we're supposed to be, and to be that fighter and to be strong and all the things, But that's not your job, Bianca.
Right.
That's not my neighbor's job. It's most certainly not the bus driver's job, And every parent, I'm a parent of two little ones. I have a 9-year-old and I have a 2-year-old. Okay. And my 9-year-old daughter is, at the point to where we're getting older in elementary and we're going to go, into junior high eventually. Well, it's not like when we were growing up, Bianca,
No.
Nowadays, these little ones are very well aware of things that we weren't aware of, whenever we were that age, And so what do you do as a parent? There are parents that decide to hold off and not have certain conversations. There are parents who decide to go ahead and have those conversations at that age. The birds and the bees, or the LGBTQ community, and understanding that whole community. So, but ultimately, whether you're a parent that wants to teach them about the LGBT community, or if you're a parent that doesn't want to talk about the LGBT community or trans or anything, you can do that.
Exactly. Exactly.
So yeah, you're not going to, I'm sorry, you're not going to tell my child, my 9-year-old daughter, that she is to address you a certain way, because that's not your role.
That's right. That's right. And so, I have no problem if people want to do what they want to do in their life, in their personal life and their personal choices. But this LGBTQ agenda, Larissa, has pretty much now, they've pushed so far that now they're asking for equality. By the time you know it, they're going to be the ones that are teaching our children in the school. They're going to be the ones that are, doing these things. I mean, they're already in the schools. They're already doing crazy things in the schools. The library hours and all that stuff. Listen, you can do all you want to do, what you want to do and live your life, as an adult. Go do that as an adult. But now you're trying to push your what is it, your preferences or your lifestyle. You're trying to now push it on a kid. And what is happening is there's a tear down of the nuclear of the family nucleus. They're trying to tear it all down. It's like, I'm sorry, but we're not in a clown show, and we're not, you do whatever you want to do, but now it's spilling over into little kids that do not know the difference. They don't know. And now you're telling them that, they've gone as far as saying, well, you can identify as a cat. You can identify as a giraffe today. Little Susie can go to the bathroom because Susie thinks today they're Johnny. So if you want to go and use the boys' restroom, Larissa, you have little ones. I don't have little ones anymore. You have little ones. Can you imagine if your little girl came and said, I'm going to be a boy today, mommy, and I'm going to go to the boys' restroom? I mean, what would you do? I'm serious. Because I'd be like, the hell, you're not going to no boys' restroom. First of all, you will go to the girls' restroom, period.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I just feel like do what you want to do at home. Do what you want to do as an adult.
Yeah.
I don't care. Do what you want to do as an adult. But, as a child, it's my job as a parent to guide my daughter. So if she says, Mommy, I'm going to be a boy today, I'm going to remind her of who she is. And I know it sounds kind of crazy. It sounds like that crazy mom that's like, no, you're this, or you
no,
like this.
No, there's a way to talk to your child. There's a way to talk to your child.
But that's our job. But that's our job as a parent, to guide our child and to let them know who they, let them experience things, but let them know, hey, this is who you are. This is your family. This is your upbringing. This is your ancestry, this and that. Now, when they get to the age that they want to do their own thing or pull apart from, even, let's say, religion, for instance, I was when I was young, I was a Catholic. I was brought up Catholic. And then you veer off and you do your own research, and then you make your own determination on what you're going to do. So ultimately I ended up in a non-denominational church, and I ended up going that route. So the same thing is how I feel with overall with raising children. You teach them what you'd like to teach them, and ultimately, whenever they're adults, they've made their own research and their own determination.
Right.
So yeah, that's how I feel it is. So if my daughter wants to go into a man's restroom, I'm going to tell her no, she's not going to go into the man's restroom. She's going to come with me to the women's restroom.
Right. Exactly. And I'm sure your husband would probably not approve of your little girl walking into the boys' restroom because
hell no.
Yeah, there's something just not clearly right. Again, people, once they're an adult and they want to choose whatever lifestyle, but you're now trying to push this lifestyle you're trying to push it down people's throats. And you're now starting to get into the little kids that do not know any better. Now you're starting to influence other kids and doing, like you said, that's your job of raising your kids. It's my job to raise my kids. I feel I've done a pretty darn good job of raising my two sons. And I will, always support them and try to be a good mom. But even my older one who's in college, even I still, he's an adult. I cannot technically tell him what to do and not to do, but I seriously weigh in with some serious advice. And he will call me mom, because I've raised him that way, Larissa, to say, most of the decisions he makes are his own. But we tell him, make wise decisions and make good choices, because the choice you make can come back and haunt you, or can come back and hurt you, or it can lead you in a bunch of trouble. And you always have to make a good decision. But there's sometimes he gets stuck. He's like, oh shoot, I don't know what to do. And he'll call me and his dad. He'll say, hey dad, what do you think? He'll call me. Hey mom, what do you think? I'm like, so he wants to get the male perspective. He gets mama's perspective, and then he makes his decision. But at least he still calls, Larissa. And and he asks for advice when he feels that he needs it. That's what parents do. And I'm sure that you do that with your mom. I'm sure you call her, and when you're in a bind and you go, Mom, I don't know what to do, or hey, I have this situation, do you call your mom and ask her for advice?
It's usually, hey, what's the recipe for the carne guisada?
That is very true. That is very true. I call my mom about those. I call my mom. I'm like, hey, I need that arroz con pollo. What was that again? Did you do or whatever? So you're right. But
Yeah.
Every once in a while, and getting older, I will call my mom and say, I've turned, I'm in my 50s now. So, I'll ask her questions, like, oh, how old were you, Mom, when this happened or whatever. So, we still call your parent, at some point in time, you still call your parent.
Right.
You don't call them all the time for every decision.
No, but
you call them because they're your parents. And that's the thing, is it's a society right now. Somebody else wants to raise your kid. That's my point. Is it these people, this specific 12% of America is LGBTQ, 12%, and they're dictating, Larissa, what they want taught in schools. They're dictating how a city should run. They're dictating bus driving now, and how people should be addressed on a bus. I mean, in a school bus, of a kid's school bus. They're dictating everything. You go to Target, you go to Walmart, Bed Bath & Beyond, wherever it is, there's a section for the LGBTQ. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? They're dictating everything. So I feel like, where's the rest of America? Where is the rest of America weighing in on a very serious issue that is impacting our children?
They're in the novella. The state. No. So as far as the LGBTQ community is concerned, I think that it's not that my deal is when it comes to adults, like I've said, I don't care what you're doing, I don't care. I disagree with you, Bianca. I don't feel like it's being shoved down my throat as an adult. But you know what I see, and I don't, like I said, I don't feel like it's being shoved down my throat. As far as the kids are concerned, that's obvious. We're seeing what's happening there. I don't agree with that. I also don't agree with men competing in women's sports. I mean, we're built differently, and it just gives a disadvantage to the women who are in those sports. But ultimately, like I said, I have to disagree with you on it being shoved down my throat, the community. But I don't I don't agree with the sports, but I also my main deal here, and this isn't targeted at the LGBTQ community here. This is literally targeted overall with some of the issues that we're seeing. Is this victimization? I'm a victim. Oh, poor me. Oh, this and this and that. And this victimization is what's gaining a lot of traction. It's gaining a lot of media. It's gaining a lot of social media presence, and it turns into this huge ordeal. But what it's doing is it's also changing and turning the way things are. And like I said, I'm going to say it again. I'm not targeting the LGBT community, but overall, with all of these issues and things that pop up, we need to, what it's doing is it's creating a permanent underclass, and it's creating division. And what we need to do is we need to wake up and realize, hey, we're the people, we run this show, and we need to quit feeling sorry for ourselves and pull in our inner strength and say, hey, this was my land, this was my country, and this is my country that I'm taking back. And that's what we need to do.
Yeah, and I guess, and I know that we had discussed that before, and we did disagree on that. And we can disagree, we can agree to disagree, I should say. Because I have a different perspective. I do feel that it is shoved down our throat because I've been kind of in the political scene, for not long, but long enough. And I've traveled the country, and when I go to Target and I see, the LGBTQ right at the beginning, everything is rainbow and rainbow and rainbow, and I'm like, and you see all this, the LGBT, that's shoved down my face. You go to the grocery store, they've got to have something there as well displayed. I mean, I went to Ulta to get my eyebrows done, and I have a problem when I walk into Ulta and there's men. They're not even trying to cross dress. They're men, but they're wearing makeup. I'm like, there's something wrong with this picture. That's what I'm saying. I can't go anywhere without it there. And I'm like, there's mentally that I'm not okay with that. I'm not. And luckily I don't have my little children, but even and I have people who friends. I have friends who choose that lifestyle, who have chosen that lifestyle. But my friends who chose that lifestyle are not flamboyant, and they're not out there marching, I want my rights, or I want to have a LGBTQ or whatever it needs. They don't they live their life, they go to work, they live their life. They're not out there trying to say that they're not equal anymore or something. Then I respect that.
Well, that was my point when I say victimization in general. You know, this whole like, oh, my rights, or I'm not equal, and this and this and that. I understand that, different groups have had a harder time than other groups. I completely understand that.
Absolutely, I can agree with that. Let's
Um,
talk about that group. Larissa, let's talk about that group.
okay.
The Hispanic Latino group. Talk about a class of group that's underrepresented. Do you know, Larissa, that the number one thing I hear from whether it's donors, whether it's just the people with money, the companies, whatever, they'll say, well, we don't invest in the Latino community because they don't vote. I hear this all the time. Yet we've seen an uptick in Hispanic conservatives voting conservatively across the nation. 10% increase in Yuma County, 10% in Texas, 57%. I mean, that's way more than a 10% increase of voter turnout in Florida for DeSantis, and everybody else down the ballot. 57% Latinos voted for their Republican candidate in Florida, and so we see Nevada had an uptick as well at 10%, but we don't vote. There's a problem with that. So I started to do some research, Larissa, and I found that we are classified when we go to buy a gun, or when we're checking off the census, when we are looking at any application, it always asks you for your race, and it says white, Asian, black, Asian, Island Pacific, or whatever, and it's black. And so yet guess what we have to check off? We have to check off white. My birth certificate says I'm white. So I'm now beginning to think that I think and believe that Latinos have been voting at a higher percentage than we're told, but they're being classified as white. So yet we're not giving credit again for anything. Talk about the class that's a majority minority, and we are completely underrepresented across the board. Across the board. We have to work harder, twice as hard, to get to where we're at, because we're that underrepresented. Why can't I walk into Target and find the La Mexico Folklorico or something? I mean, where's my culture? Really? The tamal section. I mean, we have to have our own grocery store for that, crying out loud, to have a tamal section. We have to have mi tienda and fiesta. I mean, but you can't walk into Kroger's and you're not going to see a display of tamales. You're cracking up over there.
I'm so cracking up. Tamales, tamale pot. We can't have everything, Bianca. Okay.
Oh, no. We don't get nothing. That's the point. We're not even, the LGBTQ community, who's 12% of America, is getting more than the Hispanics are.
They're getting targeted.
We're a majority minority. That's my point.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, but same thing. And then maybe that's why I just don't have patience for the victimization of things, because we've always just had to just kind of step up and fight and
you just do it.
Yeah, just do it. Just do it to survive. To survive.
Yeah, you're either you sink or swim. You sink or swim. You know, you grow up and it's like, okay, well, you know, listen, I don't know about you, but you know, my parents didn't pay for swimming lessons. Okay. I paid for swimming lessons for my kids, but my parents didn't pay for swimming lessons for me. Okay. We just were thrown in the pool. We were thrown in the pool and they'd say, you know, hold your nose and paddle your feet.
Yeah.
You know?
Just kick faster. You're singing because you're not kicking
faster. Yeah. You know, breathe or hold your breath or whatever, so you don't fall to the ground, you know, fall, or what is it, float down or whatever, you know. And so you stay floating. So that's what I'm saying is like, where's our representation? Where is it? And I'm not going to play a victim, but I'm saying, why is our culture not respected the way it should be respected? Our culture is more than just illegals crossing the border. Our culture is more than the yardman and the, you know, house cleaner. Our culture is full of doctors and engineers and you know, we have lawyers. We have more to our culture than just the housekeeper, you know, and the yardman. We have more, you know. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but the you know, the New York skyline was designed by a Cuban American. That's a Latino.
Right.
You would think that there'd be a freaking national celebration over that. No. No national celebration. Everybody probably thinks it was a white person that did it, and they'll say it's a white person. You know why? Because that's what it says on his birth certificate. On his birth certificate, it says he's white, so it's a white person that did it.
No red, white, and green fireworks, huh?
This is what gets me, is that there is a clear underrepresentation, not just of the Latino Hispanics, but even the Latino Hispanic women. We're just as smart. We're just as smart. If we can manage a household, raise our children, and go to work and do all three, we for sure can run for an office and be an elected official and serve well doing something for our community. But we're underrepresented. Period. I'd like to see the study of how many CEOs and how many big corporations, what the makeup of Latino executives they have. I'd love to see that. I bet it's not much.
Yeah.
I know you got more to say than just yeah. You've got to have a little more in there in you to say than yeah.
That was, I mean, hey, that was heavy, but the truth is heavy. The
Very
truth is heavy, and it was a lot to take in, and it's like a punch to the gut. And the reason why is because that's how the truth feels sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you can take that, and I'm not saying that you're victimizing anything at all, but what I'm trying to say is set an example for just in general. You could take that and you can mold it into something that is to victimize yourself, and then that's how you want to change the rules or the things around you to make you feel better. Or you can take that, apply it to action and consistency, and see how far you rise up.
That's right. And I think that is, you know, again, it goes back to the work ethic of the Hispanic, right? Is we're going to have to work twice as hard because, you know, number one, we don't kiss the ring, and we're not going to. We believe that we get somewhere because we earn it, not because somebody, we kissed a ring and they just, or we slept our way up to the top. We don't do that. We work hard. We work hard. So we have to work twice as hard because of the disrespect that we're given, I think across the board. I've said
Well,
this.
this, and I don't mean to cut you off, but then I'm
No,
going to
go
forget what
ahead.
I was about to say.
No, go ahead. Go
but
ahead.
but this further confirms, why the Latinos, our upbringing overall, we were brought up to be a conservative upbringing. We were brought up with these conservative values that we hold today as we're adults. We work hard. We protect our family, and we set our goals and we work hard towards those goals. It's something that was instilled in us since decades and decades and decades and decades throughout family. And what a lot of people, as we've moved on throughout the years, a lot of people don't relate the two, don't relate the two, that we were brought up with conservative values. These are the type of values that we have. And so when people think, oh, well, they say they're Republican, but they're really, they're rhinos or they're Democrats. I've never seen a more Republican in my life than Latinos, the way we were brought up.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. Do you know that 34% of our military the makeup is Hispanic, Latino descent? 34, 30, it's probably a little bit more than now. And the number one branch that has the Latino is the Marines. Okay. And then second, we have 64 Medal of Honor in the armed force that or Latinos. They don't get celebrated, Larissa. They don't get celebrated. You don't even hear about our kids learning that we have 64 Medal of Honor winners, or they're not winners. I'm sorry. They've been given the Medal of Honor in the armed forces. The first Medal of Honor recipient was a Mexican American, and he earned it. Yes, when Abe Lincoln came up with a Medal of Honor. The first person to ever get a Medal of Honor was a Mexican American. Yes. So we don't talk about that. And that to me is, they want to portray us as like we're just, housemaids and yardmen and taqueria, business owners, and the paleta, the people that drive in the little bike with the paletas, that's all we're good for. And we are much more than that in society.
okay,
Period.
well, hear me out with this one. And it's going to sound a little crazy, but hear me out with this one. The narrative has been twisted for so long that our history books are just a very limited portion of what is supposed history, and who the hell really knows what happened in history? All we know is what we've been conditioned to know. And same goes with even nowadays, there's a lot, you hit the algorithm with social media, and they're conditioned, you're conditioned with social media, you're conditioned with the news media outlets. You listen to one and it's red, you listen to another one, it's blue, and it says the exact opposite. Well, who the hell's saying what? All the meanwhile, they're talking about this thing, yet stuff's happening overseas that nobody's talking about, and there's some critical issues that Americans need to know. And so they've been playing with us, and this is what I think. They've been playing with us for so long that we're just used to well, we're just gonna go with the flow. And I'm not trying to say we're all and this is just in general as a population. That's how I feel. And I feel like the true history of our culture, of our people, the true history of the natives, of the Native Americans, of even your your colonization, your Asians. Our true rich culture is not being being depicted in our history, and I think a lot of things were twisted in our history too. Same, just like it's happening today in our media and social media. You're on mute, Bianca. So if you are talking, you are muted.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know how I hit mute. I did not hit mute. I don't know what happened. That was weird. But anyway, okay, sorry. I'll go back to saying what I was saying. You've definitely brought an interesting you know, point up, is that that's what I'm saying, is that our culture isn't celebrated. Cesar Chavez, they've taken who Cesar Chavez was and turned the whole movement into a progressive leftist movement that was not what Cesar Chavez stood for. He actually stood for legal immigration. He did not believe in illegal immigration because he didn't want his people getting used for lower wages. He felt they should earn a good living. But that's why he would tell them, no, you're not going to come here illegally, because when you come here illegally, they're going to pay you 30 cents to pick cotton when you should be getting paid $1 to pick cotton like everybody else. And he didn't want them to be used. And so he fought for those civil rights, for equality and such. And now they've taken and twisted and turned it, and it's very unfortunate. And so that's the thing, is we don't know our own history. We don't know how we contributed to this country since the beginning, and we don't get the credit for it. And that's what I think is very crucial to everything. There is definitely a lot of corruption, Larissa, in Galveston County. There is corruption in Brazoria County, but there is a heck of a lot of corruption in Harris County, and we know it. There is corruption. There is systematic corruption.
Everybody knows it.
Across the board.
Everybody
across the board.
Yeah.
And it's very, very unfortunate. And we need our, our area, our region, our districts, we need the people to wake up and care just a little bit, to make a difference. That's all they need, to pay attention to what's going on around them. And people, especially our culture, we're too busy working. You get home, you got to cook, you got to take care of your kids, you got to see what their homework is for the next day. If they got homework that's due, if they got a project, something that's, there's things, and then you got to go to bed and get ready for tomorrow, so you're not consistently paying attention to everything going on. And then by the time you know it, boom, you get hit with it, and there you are. But there is some massive, massive corruption going on. I asked someone recently, Larissa, and I said, at what point in time are we going to hold elected officials accountable for running in districts they don't live in? I was told, what? And I'm like, are you saying it doesn't exist? And they said, no. They said, no one's going to get accountable for that. Well, why not? Because they all do it. And I said, I'm sorry, what? They all do it. And I said, you got to be kidding me here. And they said, no, they all do it. Larissa, I have a problem with that. They all do it. So Larissa, that means that I can go use someone's address and I can just go run in whatever district. And, they can come and try to say, I don't live there. But guess what? I'm going to go pull everybody else's records and go, you don't live there, you don't live there, you don't live there. Because apparently y'all are all doing it. You cannot come after me when you don't abide by the rules yourself. And that is what's wrong with the system. It's wrong.
Yeah.
Very wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Just like we like to harp on, this is wrong, or taking advantage of, a lot of people will harp on Medicaid and government assistance and taking advantage of the system, and you're using my tax dollars to take advantage of the system.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what the hell are you doing, dude? You're taking advantage of the system. You're using my tax dollars, and you're taking
Right.
advantage. You're taking advantage of my system. You're no better than the people that you're trying to put down. You know,
Right.
you're the same thing.
Exactly. So we've got to definitely educate and wake up people in our districts, in our local area around us. We have to do better. Larissa, there is a race going on in District A over in Pasadena. We've got a sitting council member right now who was just appointed because of the fact that the other councilman stepped down. So it's Ruben Verdial. He is a pastor. He's very well known in the Pasadena area. There is a challenger, a Republican challenger. Now, these are nonpartisan races. However, you know which side is what. They always ask you. There's this nonpartisan really is not is it doesn't work that way anymore. It used to be, not anymore. Everybody wants to know at what side you're on. There's, I believe it's a female running on the Democrat side, and then Ruben is trying to hold his seat. For those watching, and if you are listening in, Ruben Verrial needs your vote. He is in the north side of Pasadena, District A. You can look it up online. Larissa, where could you find that? Because I think you were looking up the districts and where they were. Where can people go to find those maps so they know?
So if you go into, I think it's the city of Pasadena. I'm trying to find it, but it says clearly on their website. You go, to the city website of Pasadena, and you look under city council, and it'll tell you who your current city council members are. And then once you go in there, it'll say district maps, and you'll click on the district map, and it'll tell you what district you're in. And it'll show, the area on who's your council member that represents you for that district.
Very good. So if you are or know people in the Pasadena, Texas area, we are urging you to go and look that up and find out if you have any relatives, if you have, or if you live there yourself. We need to get the vote out. I believe early voting starts April 24th. Is that correct? I think it's April 24th.
It is the last week of April. And for District A, is it the Phelps Courthouse?
Yes.
I think it is in Pasadena. So for District A, that's where the voting location is going to be. Next week is early voting, which you can do that, and then
early voting, and then I think election day is May 7th, I believe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's after Cinco de Mayo. So yeah. So we've got that going on. And so there's also Deer Park. Deer Park has mayor and city council as well, up for city council. Tiffany is running for city council in Deer Park. I believe she believes in lowering taxes, supporting the police. She was actually letting me know how a lot of police officers have left Deer Park. They're understaffed because they're underpaid. They've lost budgeting. And of course, she's going to fight for the children and stuff. So there's things that need to be done in Deer Park, and so that's what she's running for that office. So Deer Park has some city elections. Pasadena has city elections. Do you have any city elections going on in your part in Galveston County anywhere?
So Galveston County has the school board elections, and we also have the sheriff. The Galveston County sheriff is happening here. So that's what's kind of happening here in Galveston. I did want to touch base on back to the Pasadena elections. There isn't, and the reason why I want to touch base is because there isn't much time left into that particular election. It ends in a week or two.
Right.
And it's crazy because when you look at the numbers from the Pasadena election, the last election for this particular race, In District A, which I'm sure other districts hold a similar percentage, but in District A, there are 18,000 people in District A. 300 voted in that race.
That's
And
it.
that's it. That's it. And the reason
That's less than 1%.
less than 1% voted in that race. And the reason is because it's not like, here in Galveston County, we typically have our races, whenever it's election time in November. November is usually when everybody's on the ballot, and that's typically when you have your presidential, your state reps and all those races. So a lot of people come out for those races because everybody's on the ballot, right?
Right.
But Pasadena is first of all, it's by district, and so you have to live in that district, and it's a city council race is a race on its own.
Yeah.
In May. And so nobody's going to go. I mean, it's not nobody, but it's very difficult to get voters to go out
To know that there's elections going on.
And to even know that there's elections going on, because in everybody's head, it's, your general public's going to think it's just November, whatever,
Right.
general election,
Right.
And so because it's such a small amount, there is just a small amount who is determining who's going to be your city council member for 18,000 people. It's imperative that every single registered voter go out there and vote, because 5 people could make the difference between one candidate or the other, and everybody has to live with the consequences of that.
That's right. You're exactly right. This is why these elections are extremely important. These local elections, and you ought to know, you just ran for one. And so people really need to get more involved. They need to know what's actually going on. I'm going to actually show this really quick here. And I want you to, you'll see it. Okay, good. You see, this is Joe Stepp. He is a retired lieutenant colonel. He is running for Pasadena, Texas, District H. And so we've been doing a lot of block walking. And this is just, pretty much who he is and what he's been doing. He's not even the council member yet, and he's out working, already helping people in the district getting repairs done. Look at this. This cement, there was a leak. It was a city leak. It hadn't been fixed in years. The man's been complaining about it. You would think that the current council member would have had this done. Here he is, speaking at the Texas Chiropractic College in front of the Kiwanis Bay area Pasadena meeting. His family, his son is a police officer, and so he loves his family, as you can see, very family oriented. Obviously Happy Easter, but this is this was me. Look, haha. I didn't see that, but anyway, that's me. I put hey to all my friends, family, and supporters in Pasadena H. It's time to step in the right direction in Pasadena, and so follow Joe Stepp, for some support there. And so there it is. Early voting April 24th, and through 29th, and then April 30th. There's a specific time, and then election day is May 6th. So this is amazing. And so he's been out speaking, and he's getting just a wealth of support. Here is my actual congressman. I love my congressman, Brian Babin. He is he knows Joe very, very well. And he has he is supported by law enforcement, and so anyhow, that is who he is. And I don't know what happened to my co-host there. She dropped off. But anyway, that is Joe Stepp. And so y'all, definitely, like I said, please go visit his website and let me see here again. Visit his not website. I'm sorry. Visit his. He's got a Facebook page. So visit Joe Step. If you feel that you can help out, if you live in the Pasadena area and you can help out, block walking, or if you can help out with anything, please contact him and let him know. Early voting, like I said, starts in a week, and we've got some other wonderful candidates that are also running in the Pasadena area. Please familiarize yourself with them. Send me a message if you live in another part of the district in Pasadena and need some guidance on who to support. Then you definitely want to, message me and I can direct you in the right direction, or let you know who I am supporting. But I definitely am supporting Joe Step, for Pasadena City Council H. I think that he will be just an asset to the mayor in Pasadena. I think he will be an asset to our district. I believe in change. I believe in, people who are they want to step up and do something. They believe that they can do something now, and they want to get involved, and they want to be, involved in making decisions for their community. And they've been talking to people, and they've, definitely he's out earning votes every day. And so, knocked on a lot of doors. He knows what it takes. He is, like I said, in the military, and so, or former military. So, our military guys are fighters. And so you should know that. And anyhow, we have gone a little too long today. So I thank you all for coming on today. And definitely, staying a little bit longer than normal. It is definitely Friday night. I always tell y'all, thank y'all so much for coming out and being with us tonight. So we're going to close out here with a little bit of music. This is my little music. It's our LFT, Latinos of Trump music. I always go on stage at the Reawaken, and I get that stage going, guys. But I wanted to definitely come and talk about Texas politics today, some things that are going on in Texas. I normally haven't done that. There's so much going on, guys, as you know. There's a lot more going on around the country. The Pentagon leaks, all kinds of craziness. So anyway, we definitely thank you so much, guys. Stay tuned next week, because guess what? I am going somewhere very, very, very special. So stay tuned. And, you're going to be very, very happy with what the news I come back with next week. Anyway, also stay, if you, haven't heard enough of me, please go to 1440 Keys on Monday morning. I am yours truly, La Conservadora Tejana Bianca Gracia, on every Monday morning at 8 a.m. with Bob Jones. Join us on 1440keys.com, 98.7 FM, and 1440 Keys AM on Monday mornings. So, guys, listen, again, definitely, we will, you can tune in on Friday nights here at Stand Up, Stand Out America, or you can listen to me on radio on Monday mornings at 8 a.m. Done about 170 or almost 180 episodes on radio, guys. I completed 3 years this March on radio. So thank you, guys. Anyway, good night. Listen, if you're in the Pasadena area, get out and vote April 24th all the way to May 7th. We got to get Joe Step into office here in District H, guys. If you want to block walk for him or phone bank, we got phone banking going on. We got texting going on. There are ways to get involved and help, guys. Peace out. And a big thank you to Larissa. I don't know what happened, but we lost her here. But Larissa, we thank you very much. And we thank you for your braveness for running for office in your district. And we hope to see you step up again. Anyway, again, oh, look, she's coming on, so I'm going to let her come and say bye. And she can come say bye. I'm here just saying bye, Larissa.
I'm so sorry. I got disconnected, but
don't even worry. I was talking about Joseph, and I came back, and you were gone. But I was already saying, bye to everybody. I knew we'd run long, but I was saying, Larissa, thank you very, very much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for those who are watching on a Friday night.
Absolutely. And listen, Larissa, I hope that we see more of you. We owe you, the women of America and women of this region here, owe you a gratitude for stepping up and being brave and bold to go and run for something for the very first time, not even knowing what you were doing, but saying, I want to be involved. I want to make a difference in my community. And you did it. And you did it proudly. And you did it graciously. And you did it victoriously the first round. And you know what? I have a feeling this is not the last that we will be seeing of you, Larissa Ramirez. This is just the beginning of a very bright, bright future for you. So we just, again, thank you very, very much, Larissa, for all that you've done. If people want to follow you, where can they find you?
They can find me. I have my Facebook page, Larissa Ramirez. I live here in League City, and you can find me there. You can also do LarissaRamirez.com. You can find me there as well. But just, I'm available. I'm available to help talk about anything or be there, because that's one of the challenges that I feel like, just stepping out of your shell to be involved is one of the challenges that most people face. So reach out, send a message, and I'll respond.
Absolutely, Larissa. Thank you so much. And I am sure that, like I said, this is not going to be the last time we see of you. And I think you've got a bright future. Whatever you decide to do in the future, Larissa, may the odds and the favor be with you. So we'll pull out a Hunger Games around here. So we are going to do some amazing things. I know I'm working on things around the country, Larissa. I told you that. I said, I'm very involved with all across the country. And so, I try to do my best locally. And so definitely, hopefully I get a chance to eventually sometime work with you in the future. I look forward to it. You're a bright person, and I just really love your intelligence and your tenaciousness. So
likewise.
Thank you so much, Larissa. All right. You have a great night, Larissa. I know you got children. I see the little one back there. She's on your side. Hello. I love it. Oh my God. We got a trainer.
Yeah, she's allowed to stay up a little late today because her birthday is tomorrow. So
I love it. Well, happy birthday, little Larissa there. I love it. Well, you go enjoy your weekend. And I'm not telling people where I'm going, but I said next week I'm coming back with some major surprises from where I'm going. So
I'm excited. Let us know.
I will. Anyway, guys, like I said, thank you for tuning in on Stand Up, Stand Out America tonight with Bianca Gracia and Larissa Ramirez. Peace out, guys.
Bye.